Chapter 1. The arrival. The coffee cup trembled in Commander Sarah Chen's hands as Proxima Station's communication array detected the first alien signal. This was the moment that would pivot history, humanity's first contact with an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. "Ma'am, incoming transmission," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his voice a mixture of excitement and dread. It's beautiful." The image that materialized on the screen was indeed breathtaking. Sleek, crystalline ships moved gracefully through space, their surfaces dancing with patterns of light like some cosmic ballet. These beings called themselves the Zephyrians, tall, elegant creatures with translucent skin that emitted an ethereal glow. The first message was simple: we come in peace. We seek knowledge and friendship. Earth erupted in celebration. News channels ran 24/7 coverage. Children learned about their alien friends in schools. Humanity thought they had finally found proof they weren't alone in the universe, and these new friends would carry them to the stars. But Commander Sarah Chen had a nagging feeling in the pit of her stomach. Something wasn't right. The Zephyrians requested to establish embassies in major Earth cities. They spoke of cultural exchange, of sharing technologies that would solve humanity's energy crisis, cure diseases, and open pathways to interstellar travel. World leaders practically fell over themselves to accommodate their celestial guests. Within 48 hours, gleaming Zephyrian structures rose from the ground in New York, London, Tokyo, Mumbai, and a dozen other major cities. The buildings seemed to grow rather than be constructed, crystalline spires that hummed with an otherworldly energy. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Dr. Michael Harrison commented as he and Sarah watched the construction via satellite feed. As the chief xenobiologist assigned to the first contact protocol, Harrison should have been ecstatic. Instead, his voice carried the same unease that gnawed at Sarah's instincts. Chapter 2, The Deception. The first week passed peacefully. The Zephyrians shared advanced technologies, energy converters that provided clean power, medical devices that could cure cancer, transportation systems that could connect continents in minutes. Humanity basked in what they believed was the dawn of a new golden age. "Look at this," Dr. Harrison called Sarah to his lab during the second week. "Their technology, it's incredible. But something's not adding up." Under the microscope lay a small component from a Zephyrian gift, a medical scanner they'd provided to hospitals worldwide. "This device isn't just absorbing energy," Harrison whispered. "It's transmitting. Constantly." Sarah's blood turned cold. "Transmitting what?" "Everything. Our genetic code, our brain patterns, our physiological responses, our weaknesses. They're cataloging us, Sarah. Like specimens in a laboratory." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Sarah's mind raced through the implications. Every hospital using their medical equipment, every power plant running their energy converters, every transportation hub utilizing their technology, all of it was gathering data on humanity. That night, Sarah convened an emergency meeting with senior military officials. The evidence was undeniable: the Zephyrians were systematically studying humanity, mapping every vulnerability, analyzing every strength and weakness. "We need to act," General Morrison stated grimly. "But how do we fight technology we don't understand?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a quantum physicist who'd been studying Zephyrian technology independently, made a crucial discovery. Their ships, their buildings, their entire technological infrastructure, it's all connected through quantum entanglement networks. If we can disrupt those connections. The plan was elegantly simple but devastatingly dangerous. Humanity would have only one chance to get it right. Chapter 3, The Trap. On day 15, the Zephyrians made their next move. In a worldwide broadcast, their leader, a being who called itself Luxaris, offered humanity what they termed elevation. "We have observed your species with great interest," Luxaris's melodious voice echoed from every screen on Earth. "Your potential is considerable. We wish to help you transcend your current limitations. Join us in our great work. Become part of something infinitely greater than your individual existence." The words sounded benevolent, even inspiring. World leaders prepared acceptance speeches. But Sarah had learned to look deeper. Dr. Harrison's linguistic AI had been analyzing Zephyrian communication patterns, and the translation was chilling: "Submit for processing. Become our tools." That same day, Zephyrian ships took positions above every major population center on Earth. They didn't attack, didn't threaten, they simply waited, silent and ominous against the sky. Their positioning for planetary subjugation, Sarah transmitted to Earth Command. "We have maybe hours before they implement whatever they're planning." But humanity was ready. Dr. Vasquez's team had completed the quantum disruptor, a device that could theoretically scramble the Zephyrian ships' communication networks. The plan was to launch simultaneous strikes against their installations while deploying the disruptor to cripple their coordination. Chapter 4, The Caging. On day 20, the Zephyrians revealed their true nature. Sarah watched from the observation deck of Proxima Station as massive energy barriers materialized around Earth. Shimmering walls of blue-white energy completely enclosed the planet, turning humanity's home into a prison. "We attempted peaceful integration," Luxaris's voice broadcast globally, but now the musical quality was replaced by cold efficiency. "Your species has proven resistant to cooperation. This necessitates a more direct approach." The barriers weren't just containment, they were conversion fields. Any human who touched them was instantly paralyzed, their nervous system overloaded. Reports flooded in from around the globe, people collapsing near the barriers, their minds somehow empty. "They're not killing them," Dr. Harrison's voice crackled over the comm from his position in Geneva. "They're erasing their personalities, their individuality. They're turning them into biological drones." The Zephyrian ground installations began extending roots deep into the Earth, literally mining the planet's core for resources. Their ships descended lower, beginning the systematic collection of humans for processing. Sarah realized with growing horror that humanity hadn't been contacted by explorers or even conquerors. They were being harvested by farmers. Chapter 5, The Resistance. The quantum disruptor had been deployed too late to prevent the caging, but it had damaged the Zephyrian communication network enough to create pockets of confusion in their operations. Small groups of humans managed to hide in areas where the alien technology malfunctioned. Sarah found herself leading a desperate resistance from Proxima Station, one of the few facilities outside the barrier. They had perhaps 1,000 people scattered across various orbital platforms and lunar installations, all that remained of free humanity. "We need to understand their psychology," Dr. Harrison transmitted from his hidden laboratory beneath Geneva. "They're not just technologically superior, they think differently than we do." Through intercepted communications and careful observation, a terrifying picture emerged. The Zephyrians weren't evil in any human sense. They were efficient. They traveled from world to world, identifying species with potential, and incorporating them into vast collective networks. Individual consciousness was seen as wasteful, chaotic, something to be corrected. Earth was just another farm to them. But Dr. Vasquez made another discovery that changed everything. Their quantum networks aren't just for communication, she reported from her hidden lab on Luna Base. They're maintaining the collective consciousness of every species they've absorbed. Billions of minds from thousands of worlds, all linked together. Sarah understood immediately. If we can disrupt the network completely, we might be able to free not just humanity, but every species they've enslaved. Chapter 6. The Counterstrike days 21 through 29 were a blur of desperate preparation. The orbital resistance worked frantically to construct a massive quantum cascade device, something that could theoretically shatter the Zephyrian network across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The plan was audacious beyond imagination. They would have to get close enough to the primary Zephyrian command ship to deploy the device directly into their central processing core. It was a suicide mission that would likely destroy everyone involved, but it might free billions of enslaved minds across the galaxy. On day 29, they intercepted a Zephyrian communication that chilled them to the bone. Earth's processing was nearly complete. Within hours, the last free human minds would be absorbed into their collective. It's now or never, Sarah announced to her small fleet of commandeered ships and improvised weapons. Chapter 7, Day 30, they begged for mercy. The attack began at 0400 Earth Standard Time. Sarah led the assault personally, her ship diving through the barrier in a modified cargo vessel that Dr. Vasquez had equipped with quantum shielding. The Zephyrian defenses, designed to handle conventional weapons and tactics, were unprepared for humanity's desperate creativity. As Sarah's team fought their way through the crystalline corridors of the command ship, something unprecedented happened. The Zephyrians began to panic. For the first time in their millennia-long existence, they encountered a species that could match their technology with pure, chaotic ingenuity. Humans jury-rigged weapons from medical equipment, turned their own captured technology against them, and fought with a ferocity born of facing extinction. "Please," Luxaris's voice came over the ship's communication system, and for the first time, it carried emotion, fear. "You do not understand what you are doing. The network maintains order across the galaxy. Without it, billions will die." "They already have died," Sarah replied grimly as she and her team reached the central processing core. "You killed them the moment you took away their choice." The quantum cascade device was a crude thing, barely more than a bomb wrapped in exotic physics. Dr. Vasquez had warned that its effects would be unpredictable, potentially catastrophic. But as Sarah looked at the pulsing core of the Zephyrian collective consciousness, she knew there was no alternative. "The network provides meaning, purpose, unity," Luxaris pleaded. "Your chaos will bring only suffering." "Maybe," Sarah admitted, her hand on the device's activation switch. "But it will be our suffering. Our choice." She pressed the button. Chapter 8, Day 31, Silence. The cascade effect was unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. Reality itself seemed to shudder as the quantum disruptor tore through dimensions, unraveling the connections that had bound countless civilizations to the Zephyrian collective. Sarah felt the ship disintegrating around her as the explosion expanded outward, but she also felt something else, a vast release, like the exhalation of a universe that had been holding its breath for eons. When consciousness returned, she found herself floating in an escape pod, watching as the Zephyrian fleet simply stopped. The elegant ships hung motionless in space, their crystalline surfaces dark and cold. The barriers around Earth flickered and died. Reports came in slowly from the surface. The processed humans were waking up, confused but alive, their personalities gradually returning. The Zephyrian installations were powering down, becoming nothing more than exotic architecture. But the real miracle was the signals they began receiving from across the galaxy. Civilizations that had been silent for millennia suddenly burst into communication, species that had been freed from the collective, their individuality restored, their chaos unleashed once again upon the universe. Some transmissions were grateful. Others were angry, confused, mourning the loss of the unity they had known. A few were terrifyingly aggressive, released from constraints that had held them in check for generations. The galaxy, Sarah realized, was about to become a much more dangerous place. But as she watched Earth slowly heal from its orbital prison, she felt no regret. Humanity had faced extinction and chosen freedom over safety, chaos over order, the beautiful uncertainty of choice over the sterile perfection of collective consciousness. The universe might burn because of what they had done. But it would burn as free beings chose to light it, not as programmed servants followed orders. On day 31, the galaxy fell silent, no longer singing in the unified voice of the collective. And then, slowly, billions of individual voices began to speak.